BMW has been making new Minis for so long now that the earliest new Minis are now modern classics, with the earliest ones going on sale way back in 2001. But the original is such an icon that every new iteration and spin-off that BMW comes up with for the brand gets truly scrutinised in almost a forensic way. And it's no wonder that when it comes up with whopping SUVs and golf-chasing five-door hatchbacks, that hardcore fans really question its commitment to authenticity of the brand. Mind you, in the context of the Countryman or the Ace Man, the Mini we have here, a top-spec Cooper JCW convertible, feels a little closer to that original. Even so, we still have to ask, is it true to the spirit of the original Mini? In order to be that way, it has to not take itself too seriously, but above all, it has to be fun to drive. So, let's find out if it is. Oh, and before we do that, you may have noticed this is not a brand new Mini Cooper JCW automatic. This is a 4-year-old Mini Cooper automatic JCW, said in completely the wrong order, but you know what I'm saying. A brand new one will set you back at least £37,000, but this one, 2021 example from Motorpoint, is a much more affordable £24,699. So we have another question to answer. Is a new one really worth the extra money? Well, the first point to note is that the new Mini isn't quite as new as it pretends to be, because it's an updated version on the platform that also underpins this older car. Despite the electric Mini, which is on a brand new platform, even though the new Mini and the new electric Mini look almost identical. Confusing, right? In fact, the new car even has the same engine as this older model, so you don't even get any more power. And even though this is an automatic, there are manuals available. The new Mini JCW only comes in automatic. And well, manuals are just more fun, aren't they? Although these Le Mans style paddle shifts are also quite good fun. It's looking good for the older car then, but the 2025 model is about to claw back some ground, because although this interior with its bold circular motifs and funky toggle switches is pretty cool, the new model is simply much cooler. It's got a proper fully circular infotainment display, for example, rather than this rounded off rectangle that we've got in this car. And the overall vibe is just a lot more polished. Not that it's bad in this car, it's just that this one feels a little bit like a model car, you know, where you've shrunk yourself, climbed into a model that you've got on your mantelpiece or on your shelves if you so happen to have toy cars on display. Oh no, I'm tiny! And then you've just expanded back to full size. But that feeling soon disappears when you settle in, because everything feels logically laid out and robustly expensive. And as for these seats, well, I'm not going to be driving like this later, so I'm just testing the lateral support now, and it's pretty good. As for equipment, well, Minis aren't always the most well kitted out of cars, so it's worth finding a Mini convertible that has been well spec'd by its original owner. For example, this car not only comes with the very desirable sat-nav, it also has the comfort pack, which includes dual zone climate control, front parking sensors, reversing camera and heated seats, which are very useful in a convertible, especially in the autumn. One thing this particular car does not have is Apple CarPlay. It became standard from 2023 onwards, and models before that, some had it, some didn't, which is a little bit annoying. However, it does have native Spotify and Audible, and you don't need to log in, you just need to connect your phone. So you can carry on listening to your audiobook while you're doing your long distance drives. But something that you do get no matter what is a fully electric roof, which will go down in just 18 seconds. And once that roof is down, your rear passengers will be very, very thankful, because, wait for this, not that you'll actually be travelling like this, I'm going to stand up, watch out cameraman, you get all the headroom in the world, but you're going to be sitting down with your seatbelt on, of course. Legroom doesn't change. If I move this seat back, you will see, and that's in my driving position, I actually have quite a bit of leg room, but if you were sitting there, it would be really, really cramped. So see these seats more as extra luggage space, with the occasional benefit of being able to transport some humans, two humans, at a squeeze. And you probably will want to use those seats for luggage space because the boot capacity is 215 litres and the opening has rather a lot in common with a letterbox. And with the roof down, you only get 160 litres. Oh, look at this, maximum capacity here, 80 kilograms. I can sit on this. Well, the first thing to note is that you can feel the odd shimmy and shake through the body because inevitably losing the roof means that this Mini feels slightly less stiff. So if it's the ultimate performance Mini that you want, this probably isn't the one for you. It's also slightly heavier than its metal roofed cousins to the tune of 105 kilos. They will do 0 to 60 in just under 6 seconds. Meanwhile, this convertible will do 0 to 60 in 6.6 seconds in manual guise and 6.5 seconds with the automatic. That certainly doesn't mean it's slow. In fact, the punchy 2-litre turbocharged engine develops a healthy 228 brake horsepower and feels muscular all the way through the rev range. And although the most enthusiastic drivers will probably prefer a manual gearbox, of course with the new Mini you can only get automatic, these paddle shifters here on the steering wheel do add an element of fun. Again, when it comes to cornering, it's just a teensy bit less agile than the hatch. But this is all relative. I mean, for a convertible, it's a lot more chuckable than you might expect. And it is more chuckable than a lot of hot hatches on sale now and have been for the last few years. And because it's so small, it doesn't even hurt you too much at the petrol pumps. Drive it gently and you might see 40 miles per gallon on the trip computer. Mind you, driving it gently might take quite an effort of will. Of course, everything I've just said is largely true of the new Cooper JCW as well, but this car is a lot cheaper. In the end, if a better interior really matters to you and you've got the extra £14,000 to buy a newer version of these, then go for it. Plus, you'll get a brand new manufacturer's warranty. However, if it's miles per mile that matters to you and you'd rather have that extra £14,000 in your pocket, well, actually probably in your bank account anyway, then go for this one, because that's quite a big saving, right? You'll notice though, we haven't mentioned any rivals in this review, and the Mini JCW in convertible guise at least doesn't really have any. I suppose there is the Mazda MX-5, but the performance isn't as punchy and it doesn't even pretend to have rear seats. So excuse me while I just go and browse the Motorpoint website and find a manual one of these.